Here we go. Hey, everything on 3. Number 3. Win on 1. Oh. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win it. I know the next step from that. Eyes on 3. Everything on 3. 1. Everything.
You are now listening to the Fantasy Football Bros Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Football Bros Podcast. It's your boy.
All I do is win, no matter what.
And that is true because I did win, and people have nothing to say. And we are like the Buffalo Bills defense today, y'all. We are very short-handed. You are just stuck with me and the no nickname, no nonsense.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Let's go, baby. Two-man show today. What's going on, Chaz?
Adam Van Houten. And if I can coerce her with some treats, maybe we'll
Pickles on my pickles.
Well, maybe we'll get an appearance from her
Maybe.
because we're going to need some help here. We're going to need some help.
Maybe. No.
Dave is not with us because he is recording the Let's Talk Nerdy podcast, and I told him to maybe do a little run-in. So maybe he will join us with his co-host Adam. Oh! She's on the table. You might see her tail. No.
Oh, I see your reflection in the picture behind you.
Yeah, there she is. She's on the table, y'all.
There she is.
And Jay is salty with me because it's late. So
He really is.
that's how that works. So how are you, Adam? Do anything fun Nashville stuff this week?
Oh, to be honest with you, man, I've been studying for my state exams for my job that I start on Friday. I'll be an insurance agent for the state of Tennessee, selling health insurance for United Healthcare.
Look at you.
So go me.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I've been studying a lot for these exams, and like the last 2 days, I was sick as can be. Like you can still hear it in my voice, a little sinus congestion, a little sinus infection. But we're all good now. We're ready to roll. We slept it off yesterday.
There you go. Well, you're probably watching, it's not Monday. It was 2 days ago. I was going to say that Monday Night Football game would have put you to sleep. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, for sure.
Did you happen to see, do you know off the top of your head, and if not, we can look it up real quick, the awful, god-awful, horrendous, horrible primetime games lineup this whole week? Have you?
I haven't. I mean, it starts tomorrow. I know we got the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears.
So that's
Justin Fields.
That's a solid.
Oof. That's a tough one for me.
Yeah, that's a solid fart noise. Let me.
Yeah.
And then, so we've got that, and then on Monday night you got the Bills and the Broncos. All right, you got that.
Oof. Lately, yeah.
I mean, the Bills and the Broncos it's ugly anyway. Let's see here. The Sunday night game is the Jets and the Raiders.
Ooh.
Awful.
Oh yeah. Good Lord.
Awful games all around. So it's not exciting. And I'm pretty sure there's a game in Germany again.
There is, yes.
That's
in
awful.
Germany, we have Indianapolis Colts and the New England Patriots.
Yeah, that's awful too.
What is the NFL doing with these games?
Right?
Like, oh man, I just don't understand. When somebody looked at him and said, "You know what? Really want to see Mac Jones in Germany."
Mac Jones against Gardner Minshew.
The Colts.
Well,
we didn't know we were going to get Gardner Minshew, but
that is true.
Nonetheless, it's like, holy shit. Whoever made the schedule this year is just, I don't know. They must have had some vendetta against somebody.
It's a great
or something
Sunday.
Because it's bad.
It's a great Sunday, guys, to do what you need to do before the weather gets bad. Go rake your leaves.
Yeah.
Close your
pool. Put up your Christmas decorations.
Yeah, it's a great.
Just don't turn them on yet. Just put them up.
My tree is on, but we won't talk about that. It's a great day. Like if you have a wife or a husband, and they give you guff to spend time with them on a Sunday. It's a great Sunday for you to spend time with them because it is a boring week of football. It looks like we have coming in. So
yeah, it's not great.
We got great starting quarterbacks coming in, like Tommy DeVito, and
and they're playing Dallas, and they are just gonna Did you see the line on that game?
No, what is the line in that game?
16.5.
That
For
that
Dak.
was Bills versus Giants.
I know.
How'd that work out? That's how that worked out.
Not great. But they had Tyrod Taylor, who actually was able to move the ball on the Bills. They have Tommy DeVito? Is he going to do anything on that Dallas defense? I don't think so.
He's gonna play the Penguin in the second Batman movie, right? No, oh, that's not.
Wrong DeVito.
Oh, damn it. That's not him. Crikey, that's not him. I don't know. So it's just like an ugly week, and we are going to start with a little bit of review. Adam, how did you go? How was your week of fantasy football?
It was up and down a little bit. In the Fantasy Football Bros League, I'm rolling right along. Second place now.
Nice.
I went from bottom of the league to top of the league. So
and you're probably one
we're
game
gonna
out
get
of
that
last
going
place.
and
No, in this fucking league.
yeah, maybe. Here, let's see.
Because
let me pull up the standings here.
our Fantasy Football Bro League is, I think, first
It's
and last
very tight.
are
It's very
separated by
tight.
2 or 3 games. I
Yeah,
think
it's
first
very
and
tight here.
11th.
I got the standings.
Yeah, I think first and 11th are separated by 2 games.
So 1, 2, and 3 are all 6 and 3. Okay, and then 4, 5, 6 are 5 and 4. 7, 8, and 9 are 4 and 5, and then everybody else, 10, 11, and 12 are 3 and 6. So it's one or two games in there that is going to be like
There's 2 games separated.
you win one and somebody it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's
Mhm.
crazy.
Well, I
It
won
is
after you gave
probably
me
one
a,
of the closest leagues I've ever
after you gave me
been a
a
part of.
after you gave me a thorough dick down last week. I rebounded well, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
won. And
You did. You won, and I kept rolling. I think who did I face? It was, I believe, Camping Superstar.
he's having a rough.
Zach. I gave him a little beat down too.
Well,
Not by much, not as much as I beat you down, but I beat him by 55 points. So that was the highest spread in the league.
Yeah, it was. I like when you win because that means my other league does well because we have a similar team. So
We
So-
do have similar players. Yeah.
I like when you do well. So let's talk. Let me share the screen here and let us get into the best positions of the week. How's that sound?
I like that.
All right, let's share my.
I think there's probably some surprises on here, maybe,
There might
from
be.
what I can remember off the top of my head.
All right, your first quarterback is C.J. Stroud with 41.8 points. And I
Game that kid had
believe he was my start of the week, right? Oh, no, that was the week before when he had 6 points. God damn it.
this week before.
Oh, well. Number 2 on your team is Dak Prescott at 28.36 points. And number 3 on Mark's team, 25.8 points, Jalen Hurts. Mark also had C.J. Stroud. Number 4, my guy, Josh Allen, 25 points. And number 5, like we all figured out, the second string quarterback in Minnesota being 5 days on the team, Joshua Dobbs had 24.9 points. Number
Who wasn't
6,
supposed to start last week,
right? Number 6,
but
you got Joey B finally coming back, but he faced the god awful
he's
team.
been making the list.
7,
Good to see him
Baker,
throwing the ball in there.
candlestick maker, Baker, another guy on Mark's team. Mark has 3 guys in the top 7.
I know it's funny for Baker. It kills me that you see his points there at 19. CJ Stroud had 41, almost 42 points. The score was 39-37, and Baker they only get 19 points. It's so tough for me to look at and go, holy shit, what a high scoring game. Baker probably did good. Oh, 19 points. Is it good? Sure. Is it
at 7?
bad? No. Is it CJ Stroud? Oh my God.
Right. We'll talk about CJ in a minute. Let's finish the top 10 here. At number 8, freshly dropped off of Adam's team, and now on my bench is Deshaun Watson.
I dropped him a long time ago.
You dropped him on the podcast last week, or 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Did I? Oh,
Yeah.
was it? Oh,
Yeah.
Whatever.
19 points. At 9, you got.
You're never going to start him. He's just a bench guy.
Well, week 13, maybe. Week 9, we got Tyson Bagent. Yeah, right. At 18 points. And of course, in the top 10, you got to have Sam Howell.
I'm pretty sure all those were rushing yards, to be honest.
Yeah, probably. But you got to have Sam Howell.
He ran. Oh, of course.
Top 10. Patrick Mahomes was down at 12. Derek Carr's in the top
Tough game for him.
12. Yeah. Tyler Heineke, Jordan Love, Tua. There's your boy Tommy DeVito down there with 10 points.
Jay's guy, Jordan Love.
I mean, he was what, 13th? He's always sneaking. He's always sitting around the top 12.
Yeah, he's in there somewhere.
Always.
He's in there somewhere.
Yeah, he's always. I mean, he had
You
14.
may not seem it, but he's a second half guy for sure. Takes him a minute to get going.
For sure. And think about this, there's a nice little liking to pick on Jordan Love on this podcast. This week alone, better than Tua, better than Lamar Jackson, better than Will Levis, so better than Justin Herbert. So, got to give the guy the props where it's due. They're not playing good, but he's playing decent for fantasy. Aaron Jones coming back. They won the game, Things don't panic on your Packers yet. But let's talk about, of course, second overall draft pick, CJ Stroud. 5 touchdowns, 470 yards.
I would love to be the Carolina Panthers front office here going, man, did we mess that one up?
It's not over. Just because
I don't think Bryce Young is awful. Okay, he's had they only have one win, right? So you can look at it and go, oh, well, he's not doing anything. He's really not. He doesn't have that many touchdowns. Carolina just stinks all around. I mean, somehow Adam Thielen is in the top 10 of receivers, I believe, for the year. Nobody saw that one coming. But CJ Stroud, man, did he put together a game against Tampa last week? Holy cow. 470 yards, 5 touchdowns. He had 3 receivers over 100 yards. Absolutely insane.
I believe it's the greatest rookie performance ever by a quarterback.
That probably seems right. Yep.
Yeah, so good props to him. I was never a big fan of him, and I'm still not, but he's playing well, I mean,
and I think if I remember correctly, I think in the beginning of the season I said on our draft show or our rookie show is that Carolina should go with CJ Stroud over Bryce Young. And this is why. I thought CJ Stroud was the better quarterback all around. Not that either of the teams were any good that he's going to be on, but I mean, it looked like it didn't look like Tampa could get to him at all. Like he had all day to throw.
Yeah. You did say that, and my argument to you was I don't like CJ Stroud. I don't necessarily like Bryce Young either. I was all about AR-15.
Yeah, I didn't like either of them. Yeah. And I'm also a rookie hater. I hate rookies, that.
I was all about Anthony Richardson.
I need a year for a rookie to prove it to me. But I mean, moving forward, if you're in a dynasty league and you picked up these guys, they're probably your first and second picks anyway. There's no problem having them on your roster in the future.
But yeah, you were right on CJ.
CJ Stroud, he'll get drafted. He'll get drafted pretty high next year.
I still think Anthony
not pretty high, but you still have your same guys. But and Anthony Richardson, if it wasn't for him getting hurt, man, he was on his way to be the guy. Would have been
a top 5 fantasy quarterback. And
I 100% agree.
He's had one good game. He's had one bad game. The best arm in the whole draft was Will Levis. So, but
yes,
he's got a lot.
We'll get to him.
He's got a lot to work on. So Will Levis has got a lot to work on, but he's had.
We're going to get to him
in the draft. So let's move on to your top running back or top wide receivers. Sorry, your top wide receivers of Week 9. Number 1 goes hand in hand, as well as number 2 goes hand in hand with CJ Stroud.
It's unreal.
Tank Dell and Noah Brown. I mean, nobody started these guys.
Nobody did.
Tank Dell is rostered at 48%, and Noah Brown is rostered in 2%.
And is still a free agent.
Still a free agent. And nobody picked him up even after this big week, right? Because nobody expects it. Nobody expects it to go. Number 3 is your boy, CeeDee Lamb. That's your guy.
My boy, CD.
My guy in another league. Number 5
and he didn't even score a touchdown, which is amazing.
Number 5 is Amari.
Had a monster game.
Number 6 is Stephon Diggs. Number 7 is Deontay Johnson. Number 8 is A.J. Brown. Number 9 is T. Higgins. Number 10 is Jahan Dotson. Number 11 is Chris Olave. Number 12 is my boy, Keenan Allen. Also in the top 14, you got Nico Collins from what team?
Houston. Again.
Of course.
Another Houston guy. We're going to see another Houston guy in a little bit here when you get to the tight ends.
You had Odell Beckham have his first touchdown ever. You had Michael Pittman, who's really showing up
with Huntley too.
Yep.
They pulled Lamar and Huntley threw him that
their
touchdown.
You after you slandered Michael Pittman, he's put up 2 top 15 games in a row. After you
I
slandered,
didn't slander Michael Pittman. I said he's the best receiver on that team.
you said he's not playing good, and I was like, brah,
He wasn't.
He's been playing really good. He's a top 10 receiver in fantasy.
Actually, he's been pretty. Yeah. He has been pretty decent.
He's
I have him in one of my other leagues.
Yeah, he's a top 10 receiver in fantasy this year, like surprisingly
Yeah.
so. Any other surprises in here? Darnell Mooney was in the top 25 here. Wan'Dale Robinson, but like it's just scoring has been down across the league, and
it really has. And I think that's what we gauged fantasy on too. Is like we want our guys to score touchdowns, right? Obviously, that's 6 extra points. But like CeeDee Lamb didn't score a touchdown, and he's third in for the week. He had like 11 catches for 198 yards.
Keenan Allen,
and it sucks that fumble costs him 2 points there at the end there.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
It is what it is.
Keenan Allen is your 12th receiver on the week. A week where there was 0 buys, by the way. Keenan Allen was your 12th receiver on the week with 15 PPR points. So it's like not that great.
That's pretty good.
That's not that great. If you're looking at he's 12 at 15 points.
Those are flex numbers, and that's scary for a guy like Keenan Allen, and like that's kind of annoying as a fantasy owner too. Is like I have Keenan Allen stock in one of my other leagues as well, and like he hasn't scored in a couple weeks.
You can't blame it on Keenan Allen. He's a top. I don't know.
I don't blame it on him at all.
This week alone, he's a wide receiver one. He's a wide receiver one this week.
100% every week
with 15 points. So I'm saying it's just been a bad.
Yeah.
It was a bad.
Yeah, it's been tough.
Bad week.
Tough.
It's
nice to see T. Higgins kind of coming along too.
Yep. Keep Tank Dell on your bench, everybody, but keep him. Don't go after Noah Brown. That's what I got to say. Always start CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper, I think he's worth taking a look at starting. He's been pretty good.
I think now that Deshaun's back, I think he's better to be started now than he was with I can't remember who the fucking backup quarterback is. Holy shit.
Whomever. They started.
That doesn't matter. Either way. Watson's back. He looked healthy. He looked okay. So yeah, Amari Cooper definitely is your wide receiver one. He definitely your wide receiver two if you have somebody better than him.
Here's a question I got for you for a different team that but I can use this. Who would you start in your flex? My wide receiver one is Jamar Chase. My wide receiver two is CeeDee Lamb, right? They're not going anywhere.
Sure.
So who would you start in your flex between if you were me, who would you start in your flex between Amari Cooper and Michael Pittman? That's what I juggle every week.
Oh man. See, that is a tough question.
Yeah.
I guess it would at that point it has to be matchup based, right? And I think Amari Cooper, Cleveland has Baltimore this week, so I think I might give the edge to Pittman in Germany against New England.
I've been starting Pittman nonetheless.
I think
ever since about week 3.
Yeah, he's definitely.
But that's a good problem to have.
Cooper struggled without Watson, but it definitely is.
Good problem.
And I have that problem too in some of my leagues. I'm like, I don't know who to start, where, and when.
Yeah, it's a good problem.
It's definitely a good problem to have.
Let's move on to the top running backs of the week. How about that? Number 1, this is going to make Saints Joe happy. Rashard White. And one thing I want to mention about this Rashard White being a number 1 is it was actually smart, and he actually ran well. He had 20 attempts for 73 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He had pretty good blocking, yeah.
So like he hasn't been running well, and he's been getting a lot of his points on reception. So this is the first time all year Rashad White has looked pretty good running the ball. So you should be happy with that, Saints Joe. And number 2, Ramon Stevenson, who's been a disappointment, but I want to bring up again because Saints Joe has the number 3 running back here of Keaton Mitchell, and he's so excited about him, and I think this is fool's gold.
100%. It was garbage time against a team that they were blowing out. And he got all of his yards on one run in the fourth quarter. And don't go out getting Keaton Mitchell. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I don't even think
unless there's a massive injury to Gus Edwards or Justice Hill, and who isn't even that good anyway. And neither is really Gus Edwards, right? He's just touchdown dependent, kind of. but I know don't
It's
break
just-
your backs for Keaton Mitchell. Don't trade for him.
Yeah.
Don't pick him up.
It's a messy bag.
It was. I agree. It's a. Yeah, and not to mention, Lamar just runs all the time anyway.
Yeah.
The only reason why they handed it off to Keaton Mitchell was because Tyler Huntley was in the game.
Yeah, and
After
I
they
know,
were
and I know
rolling
Joe's.
out.
I know St. Joe's excited about it because he's had him on his roster the whole year, and that's just what he's waiting for. But I just feel it's fool's gold. And if I'm wrong, hey, St. Joe can dunk on me.
I hope he starts in this week. I really do. Yeah, that's fine.
I will
He can
call
dunk
him
on me
out.
too,
I'm going to
because
call
I
him
totally
out.
agree with you.
I'm calling him out right now. He told me he's considering starting
Do it.
Keaton Mitchell in the flex over Cooper Kupp until
Please do.
Stafford gets back. And I was like, go ahead, buddy.
Yes, please do that. Yeah, please do that. Because I will take over first, no problem.
But to be fair, Cooper
Please
Kupp
do that.
Cooper Kupp is awful without Matt Stafford. Awful.
Yeah, and so is Puka Nacua.
Yeah. So they're awful without Matt Stafford. So I mean,
They're definitely
he does got a point, but
that's a tough one to deal with.
I couldn't make that. At fourth,
Tell me,
we've got
Double J here again.
Josh Jacobs, and at fifth we've got Austin Eckler, and at
double
sixth
day here again.
we got Derrick Henry, and seventh we got Jonathan Taylor, and eighth Aaron Jones, ninth Joe Mixon. Was that my start of the week? That was one of them. 10th Alexander Madison,
I believe it
11th
was.
Gus Edwards, and 12 Najee Harris.
That was my daily bargain. Alexander Madison.
Yep, you got bailed out by a touchdown, bro. But you won. You're
It
right.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I don't have to get bailed. I don't care how I get bailed out. I was correct.
And
You
you're
scored
right.
a touchdown. You had a decent fantasy day,
Absolutely.
and I was right, and that's all that matters.
But looking at this top lineup, I feel Ramondre is fool's gold because he had a big play and he's just been ass. Keaton.
I mean, he
Mitchell-
only had 9 carries all game. He had
Yeah.
one big run.
I feel
for a
Keaton,
touchdown.
Keaton Mitchell's definitely fool's gold. I think Josh Jacobs is back lately, especially now with Josh McDaniels being gone.
Yep.
I know he
Agreed.
had. I know he had a couple touchdowns. How many touchdowns did Eckler have?
Eckler had 2.
Two. Okay, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, it's fool's gold in a sense. He'll still get his touchdowns, but the guy had 14 rushing attempts for how many yards, Adam? 47.
47.
Two
I know.
receptions for 23. Like, I know he got you the touchdowns, but like without those touchdowns, if you take those 12 points away, he had 9 points. Like he got lucky in that game. He's not who he was.
He did, and he's definitely not what he used to be, which really sucks for fantasy owners. But I mean, he's still a guy that you're not going to sit.
This isn't a
Unless
bench.
he's
This isn't me
injured,
saying
so-
bench it by any means. You're right.
Yeah,
But-
don't bench Eckler based on what we're saying here, because he's still Eckler and he's still going to
Well-
get his touches and he's still going to,
And here's a
he's still going to get his touchdowns. So
here's a fair question I brought up to you last week. And it was the same lines of like, are you scared of Brees Hall at all because he's been not running the ball that well and living off of explosive plays? And you're like, not really. And did he have any explosive plays this past week?
he did not.
And he was pretty
but
bad,
They got
right?
into a hole. They
Well,
got
right.
to a hole really early, and that forced Zach Wilson to throw, which is how you beat the Jets, because you forced Zach Wilson to throw.
So,
He's not going to beat you.
so I do have
if
worry
you don't
about
get
Brees
Brees Hall going, then you don't have a chance.
I
And I
worry
mean,
about Brees Hall. And I worry about Eckler.
look at Brees Hall this week though against the Raiders on Monday night. I mean, he could be back for this week. It's a pretty good matchup for him. So
Now-
Brees Hall is another one. He's a starter every week.
Now, here is something that this goes against what I'm saying, and I have the exact opposite effect, and not just because he's on my roster. Jonathan Taylor, he didn't have great time running the ball. 18 for 47, 5 catches for 22. But the big thing is he had 18 attempts, and Zach Moss only had like 4. So what's exciting?
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
exactly what we said was going to happen. We knew that Zach Moss was going to cool down. I know a lot of people tried to sell him high, right? I've gotten trade offers for Zach Moss. Like, oh, you should trade for him. This no. Not with Jonathan Taylor back. They're paying him all this money. They're going to use him. Zach
So
Moss,
So even though Jonathan Taylor wasn't
he's
effective,
out of lineups.
Jonathan Taylor was just as bad as effective as Eckler. They're going in different directions, in my
Right.
opinion. Even though they were kind of the same this week,
Yeah.
Eckler's going up, or Eckler's going down, and Taylor's going up. You know what I mean? So it's like
I agree.
just something to keep
Mm-hmm.
an eye on. Aaron Jones, healthy, good game. Joe Mixon against the Bills, my start of the week, of course. Alexander Madison had a touchdown. Gus Edwards had 2 touchdowns. Najee Harris, I feel, is getting his legs under him finally. So
He is, and you know what, and I was right about the split between him and Jalen Warren, by the way, because it is dead even almost. And Jalen Warren ran really well too against the Titans on Thursday night. And it's not garbage time. It's not. It's like they're every other series they're splitting carries. So and the only skew that you get is if one drive lasts 4 plays and another drive lasts 12 plays or vice versa. So it's one of those things. But I mean, it's good to see Najee get his because he was kind of a higher draft pick for a lot of people. You know, we're talking like 2nd round, maybe 3rd round as a running back too. So
Yep, very well.
So Najee's coming around. I like to see it. So
let's peep on the tight ends real quick. Number
there's
1.
our guy.
Who is it?
There it is. Dalton Schultz.
27 points.
He was on my bench this week, though.
Of course.
I also had 3. I have 3 tight ends on my roster. Okay, and all 3 of them put up over 20 points. So it really didn't matter.
Is he startable?
Yes. I think moving forward, I think he is startable. And it's not even just because CJ Stroud had a good game. I think he's just a security blanket for CJ Stroud now, and he has scored in consecutive games. Let me see. Let me pull up his.
He's been playing pretty good. I mean,
he has been playing very good.
He has got.
He's got a touchdown in 4 of the last 5 games. So
he's been playing well.
Definitely startable. Not so much touchdown dependent because he's getting a lot of targets. His last 5 games, Pittsburgh was a tough one. 3 targets, but he had 3 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown. Atlanta, he had 10 targets. New Orleans, he had 7 targets, 5 targets against Carolina. Ended up a really bad game for both teams. But against Tampa on Sunday, he had 11 targets, 10 for 130 and a touchdown. He's definitely startable moving forward.
What was great about this week for tight ends is there's been weeks where there was – I remember like week 2 or week 3, there was 4 tight ends with double digits points. This week, there were 16 tight ends with double digits points. So so you had Dalton Schultz, Cole Kmet, Cade Otton, Jonnu Smith, which we'll get into, Jake Ferguson, Taysom Hill,
Jesus,
Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, Luke Musgrave, Juwan Johnson, Hunter Henry, TJ Hawkinson, David Njoku, Tyler Conklin, Drew Sample, Irv Smith Jr. all had double digits. So, that's awesome considering how much we bitched and cried about tight ends being shitty.
It is good to see for tight ends, really, because they can honestly be the difference in points for your fantasy team. And it sucks that nothing after that. We've said it before, and we continue to say it every week, but seeing these guys play well is good. But gives you a little bit of breathing room sometimes.
So the big names in here that I want to discuss real quick is Dalton Kincaid is starting the rest of the year. He's a top 5 tight end, in my opinion.
Yep.
He's now.
I think he's earned that job. I don't care if Dawson Knox is hurt, and you can't lose your starting job to an injury. Yes, you can. I don't care what you say. Yes, you can. Dawson Knox is a great blocker. He's not a great route runner. He's not a great pass catcher. We know that. We're Bills fans. We see it every single week.
A lot of
Dalton Kincaid.
This is what's special.
All of those things.
This is what's special about Kincaid. And this is why I'll say we have all these. We have all these. Look at the names on the page right now. And this is something I want to show out for you. And this is what makes him different than anybody else. We have all these points, right? You see them all the points right here, 27, 23, blah, 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 blah. But here's the difference with Dalton Kincaid. Ready? 1 touchdown here, 2 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown. Right here, Mark Andrews and Dalton Kincaid, no touchdowns, 16 and 17 points respectively. That is what you can count on. You can't count on your tight end to get a touchdown every week. When you start a tight end in my other league, I started Luke Musgrave. I was doing backflips because he got
a touchdown,
14 points,
and it was late in the game,
50 yards and a touchdown. But like Dalton
Mhm.
Kincaid had 10 receptions for 81 yards, and Mark Andrews had 9 receptions for 80 yards. Why does he have one more? Oh, because Dalton fumbled. So and then Dalton fumbled. So
Right.
without the fumble, he had 18 points with no touchdown. Now I know you want the touchdown, but like to have that production and give Mark Andrews props too without the touchdown, that's what you want from your tight end position. If they're
Agreed.
putting up, if they can put up a solid 14 points with no touchdown, that's like worth like 37 as a receiver. So
Yeah, I want to point out this too. Cole Kmet, he has a different quarterback than Justin Fields right now. They have Tyson Bagent.
yes.
Justin Fields doesn't throw to his tight end. I don't know how sustainable it's going to be for Kmet to be up here every single week once Fields gets back. I think we have one more week with Bagent at quarterback tomorrow night.
He had 2 big weeks with Fields. I got his numbers pulled up if you can see on the screen.
Yeah.
Week 4, where did it go? Week 4 and 5, he had 27 points and 15 points with Fields. So I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, he has shown that he can do it.
He can. Oh, he absolutely can.
You know,
But
right.
you just have to keep in mind that Fields is coming back, and he doesn't typically throw all that much.
Well, the wild card I do want to
happens.
bring up, sitting on your bench, is Taysom Hill. And
Oh yeah, dude, he's been on my bench.
Yeah,
and he's probably going to stay on my bench.
He's had 4
Actually,
good
I think
weeks.
I have him in this week.
He's had 4 good weeks in a row. He has.
I know it's crazy.
He's getting used, and that's what's exciting about Taysom Hill is he runs the ball, he throws the ball, he catches the ball. But I'm telling you, I've started this man before. Look at him. Week 1, 0.4 points. Week 3, 3 points. Week 4, 3 points. Week 5, 3 points. And then he went on a little tear, 12, 16, 22, 20. Don't be surprised when Taysom Hill has 4.7 points this week, guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't see this Taysom Hill trend going away anytime soon. If that's the production that he's putting up for the team and he's helping them win. Sorta.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
It is what it is.
He's a tough one, and I agree. He's had 4 in a row that have been really good. And, he's run for a touchdown, he's thrown for touchdowns, and it's like, do I expect it this week? I don't know. Who do I have this week?
I'll tell you, the moment you rely on Taysom Hill, he's going to let you down. That's all I know about Taysom Hill. He's going to let you down.
That's why he's scoring so much, is because I keep benching him.
Keep him benched for the people.
But like I said, I had 3 tight ends on my roster, and they were all in the top 10.
Right.
They all had 20 points. So it didn't matter who I started. But yeah, it was just I do have him in my flex this week though, and that might change. They're against Minnesota, so we'll see.
All right. Well, let's get a little move on too.
Instead of swing, RBA goes down the middle, slam dunk.
Get dunked on, bro.
And I'm Duncan. I'm gonna go first real quick because I speak for the fantasy community everywhere. This is the fantasy community all in one for me. Nobody, and I mean nobody, will disagree with me. Get dunked on. Arthur Smith, you are awful as a head coach. You are awful as a talent evaluator. I feel terrible that I'm right. That I feel so bad that I picked the Falcons to win this division, and they're probably going to with this awful coach because it's giving him like fuel to think that his coaching predictions are right. To take Kyle Pitts 4th overall, to take Drake London 8th overall, to take Bijan Robinson 8th overall, and you're fucking handing the ball to Tyler Algier. You're drawing up fucking screens to Jonnu Smith that he happens to get a 60-yard touchdown for. Great. You're not a genius. That's a dumb call. It's absolute worthless. And these players are bailing you out. And now you're going to probably win this division, like I said, and you're going to think you're a genius and you're not going to get fired. And then, of course, they're all going to be in the fantasy graveyard while fucking mid pieces of crap Like Tyler Algier and Jonnu Smith are getting fantasy points for nobody, absolutely nobody. So I hope I'm going to give some love to Saints Joe. I hope for Saints Joe's sake that the Saints can keep firing it up and beat the Falcons out of this division. I hope I'm wrong and you guys are right, because I want Arthur Smith fired and I want them to actually have an
Same.
offensive guy that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, as a guy who traded for Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts in different leagues, yeah, I'm fed up with Arthur Smith. I've dunked on him in past episodes for the same shit. Just terrible play calling, terrible personnel choices. Like, why is Jonnu Smith in the game? Well, that should have been Kyle Pitts all day long. He's a better athlete. He's faster, stronger. I just don't understand what he is thinking. And it's mind blowing. And I do have to say the Saints are currently one game ahead in leading the NFC South, but they have a tough schedule too. And like they play Atlanta still. And I hope I agree. For Saints Joe's sake, I do want the Saints because I also predicted them to win the division. But yeah, Arthur Smith, I know they won't fire him because he has them in a position to win the division, which really sucks for everybody else. But when you have a guy like Bijan Robinson, who was an absolute stud at Texas, and Kyle Pitts, who's a freak of nature athlete, it's like, what are you doing? And the fact that you went, I'm still mind blowing that Taylor Heineke didn't start the entire year. And I think they'd have maybe one or two more wins if he did, because I don't think Desmond Ridder is any good.
I mean, they lost this week to a guy that was on the team for 5 days. So
Yeah.
like with Taylor Heineke, and like I agree, like the passing options will be better with Heineke, but they lost with him. Like it's just like,
Yeah.
I would have fired him.
I'm not saying Taylor Heineke is their answer. He's not an elite quarterback by any means, but he had some really good games in Washington last year. And I thought when they signed him, I was like, oh wow, this guy is definitely going to be the starter there. And then they were like, oh nope, Desmond Ridder. I'm like, okay, well that's a mistake.
Bro, I
But
felt
Arthur
like
Smith is just a
I felt like I was
idiot.
watching
I
a
can't
Bills
stand
game.
him.
There's nothing more Sean
bad.
McDermott than a quarterback that's been on the
Yeah.
team for 5 days.
5
to come
days
back and
comes
beat
in
you.
and beats you.
That's a Sean
Yeah.
McDermott thing. To not be prepared
It is.
and
It
not know what
sucks.
to do. So sorry, some
Mhm.
Bill slander. All right. So what is your
Yeah.
dunk?
My dunk is another head coach, but he goes by the name of Mike Vrabel. Okay, and here's why. And I've dunked on him many times before for his decision making and his play calling. And he's got this kid, Will Levis, right? Comes out last week, throws 4 touchdowns, 3 deep balls, DeAndre Hopkins, and another deep ball to the other kid, Westbrook Akine. But then he comes in this game and Pittsburgh's got a good defense, so I get that he might struggle a little bit, but he's down with like 4 minutes left in the game and they're driving down the field. And then he decides to run the ball 3 times in a row and get stuffed on all 3 plays. Now there's like 2 minutes left.
Well, again, folks,
said-
just to reiterate, while down.
Well, down.
While down.
All they needed was a touchdown to take the lead, right? I think they were only down like 5 or 6 points, right? It was a touchdown to take the lead. He runs the ball 3 times, gets stuffed. And guess what? He didn't even run with Derrick Henry. He ran with Tajay Spears.
Yeah.
Wasn't even Derrick Henry in the game
Right.
at that point. So now they're down. Now they get stopped, right? They punt the ball away. Or I think they kicked a field goal, which made it 16 to whatever. So now they have to rely on the defense to get a stop, which they do. Great. Okay. But now you only have like 2 minutes left, less than 2 minutes left. And they couldn't move it. They couldn't go anywhere on the Steelers defense on that drive. At the end of the game, he had to throw like a 50-yard Hail Mary into the end zone, and it just came nowhere close. He set the kid up for failure from the beginning, and I'm so done with Mike Vrabel. Will Levis is definitely your quarterback of the future. He's proven that. And I know it's been 2 games, but he didn't play bad against the Steelers. The Steelers have a really good defense. And last week, when he threw for 4 touchdowns, they did this thing between him and Malik Willis, and Willis sucks, so they left Will Levis in the game.
Awful.
But Mike Vrabel, like, what are you doing, man? Like, what were those play calls? Like, as the head coach, when you hear your offensive coordinator go, yeah, run the ball 3 times to get the first down, and then you don't get the first down, like, can they override? I don't know how it works. Obviously, I'm not on the sidelines, but come on. Like, that was just unreal. So get dunked on, Mike Vrabel. Again, I'm sure this isn't going to be the last time I dunk on you. And I'm sure Arthur Smith, this is not going to be the last time we dunk on you either.
They're the same
but
fucking
yeah, man.
person. Are they
But
not?
they literally have the same mentality, and like it's unbelievable to see these guys. And with the talent that they have, they're just not using them properly.
Mind-boggling, isn't
And
it?
it really it really is. So it sucks to see. And like, I'm obviously here in Nashville, so I want to see good football, right? And I want to see good coaching decisions, and
Good luck.
just being a fan of the game of football. And it doesn't do that for me when I watch Atlanta. It doesn't do that for me when I watch Tennessee. Like, these coaches are just continually putting these guys up for failure, and it's like, you got to do something.
Yeah, and they're the same person, and it's funny because guess what was Arthur Smith's job before he got a head coaching job?
I believe he was a defensive coordinator.
Or was he offensive coordinator?
He might have been an offensive coordinator. When he was a coordinator, either way.
In Tennessee. So, like,
Yeah.
that's why I like this
Right.
guy. So that's why I feel it is a very apropos dunk. All right. So, all right. Well, let's take a little.
Time for a victory lap.
I'm gonna go first because
I'm gonna go first on this one because mine
Okay, you go.
mine kind of coincides with the Titans game, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. Mine's just gonna be quick. That's why I was gonna say I'd go first. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
so is mine. Mine's real easy. My victory lap goes out. I finally hit a parlay. I texted out to the group.
Finally hit a
It was the first one of the season. But it was nice because it was a free bet, which was nice. They came with a new account with the Barstool Sportsbook app, which is fantastic down here in Tennessee, by the way.
Well, yeah, you're not allowed to bet on things, right?
So we can. So there is sports betting here. The only thing that they don't have is the underdog. We don't have the pick'ems. We can't do that yet, but they're working on it. But Barstool is also not available or live in New York yet, where all the other sports betting apps are. So it was kind of nice when I got down here. I was able to sign up, get a free bet, use the free bet, hit the parlay. It was a nice hit, $100. I won like 380 or something like that. So that was kind of nice to see on a little 3-legger for the Titans Pittsburgh Steelers game Thursday night. So there it is.
Hey, I don't really have much to say other than I don't really have a victory lap because I didn't make any big calls per se that I was right on. I mean, yeah, I was right about the Saints defense, but that was like fish in a barrel, like not a big deal. But my total victory lap is I won 4 out of 5 leagues last week, so I'll take that.
That's perfect.
You
That's
know,
great.
I'll take the 4 out of 5 leagues. We did skip
for
something
sure.
I did want to discuss, so we'll bring it up right.
Let's bring it up now.
And we are going to talk about.
I'm back.
And of course,
Hey there, little fella.
he's coming back.
He is Kyler Murray back in the starting role for the Arizona Cardinals. I don't think it really is going to matter too much, but
Well, I think it matters because the quarterback play. Me and you in our separate leagues are getting lucky with Dak. Because I mean, we're happy lately, but
very.
don't tell me you weren't about, one bad game away from considering dropping him, right?
Dropping Dak, I don't think I would ever drop him, but I would definitely bench him. And
Yeah,
I
like
have benched him.
Like 3 weeks ago, I benched him easily for Matt
Yeah.
Stafford. And I didn't drop him, but I was like 1 or 2 bad games away from dropping him. So Dak
For sure.
stepped up. Trevor Lawrence has been a disappointment. Justin Herbert has been ass lately. Justin
Yes.
Fields is gone. Aaron Rodgers is gone right now. So to have
Hey there, little fella.
coming back is, I think, great for players out there. And I have him in 2 leagues, but he's backing up Dak, and that's great. And I'm happy because if Dak goes back down, I have him to lean on. And I have him in another league just because, and I would never start him. It's under Burrow.
Yeah,
But
I went out and picked Kyler up to stash him for this reason too. In one of my leagues, I was down bad. I traded Tua and George Kittle for Kyle Pitts and Kyron Williams. And then Kyron Williams got hurt that week that I traded for him. So he's been on IR. And I've literally just been plug and play quarterbacks every single week. I had Stafford in there for a while. I started Baker one week. Now that I got Kyler Murray back on the bench, I'm happy to put him in my lineup. And same with my other leagues. Yeah, I mean, if you have a bye week coming up, 100%.
But Adam, also, it's a 1-2 punch.
It is.
The Terminator.
Yes, he is. James Conner also back, activated off IR, practice in full. They're still unsure if he's going to play or not, as long as he doesn't have any setbacks tomorrow and Friday in practice. But yeah, I mean, he's been solid as well too, and without Kyler Murray, he's been great. So he's definitely a guy that I want to see back. So they get a 2 for this week for them, and they desperately need it because I don't think they have a chance of winning the division with San Francisco and Seattle in there.
Seattle. Stop.
I mean, Seattle's not going to do what they did last year.
They also don't have a chance of winning the division, Adam, because I believe they're 1.
No, they don't have a chance.
They're 1.
I just mean it in general. With the Seahawks could make the playoffs, is what I meant by that.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they have 2 teams in the playoffs. But
so yeah, the I'm back. You had Kyler, you got Double J, or sorry, I'm about to say you got Kyler and Connor, but you also have designated for return his 21-day window of
Double J here again.
That's pretty big.
yeah, Justin Jefferson.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, it is. And now with Josh Dobbs,
It chokes you up, bro. It's choking you up. It's so big, bro.
it does. Yeah,
It ain't the first time something big chokes you up.
Nope, sure it isn't.
So that's big. I mean,
You're gonna get us canceled.
he's not playing this week. So, but to him,
No, I don't think he is either.
And I
But
just
for him to
realized
be
this,
designated to come back is big.
if you guys remember, I made a trade at a different league, and we're not focusing on different leagues, but I want to bring up this trade. I traded away Calvin Ridley and Josh Jacobs for an just injured Double J, and he's been on my bench for 4 weeks. But Adam, I just realized this: once Double J comes back, I have the 2019 starting lineup of the LSU Tigers because I have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson.
There you go.
So, but now
Hey,
Chase is
they
back.
won a national title, so
Yeah. Chase is banged up, so you never know. But you also have coming back. There is another big one coming back that's just in time.
Timothy Frog.
No, not him. God damn it. I always hit the wrong one. He's on bye. He's not coming back. But in Dave's league, I was 4-0. And then all of a sudden I had all these injuries, and now I'm 4-5. But just in time,
Didn't I ever tell you about Bumbles?
he's coming back. I'm sorry, folks. I say this all the time.
Bumbles bounce!
Bye, Jahmyr Gibbs. Go sit on the fucking bench, you young electric rookie. Sit the fuck down because,
Bumbles bounce!
and I'm
I mean,
sorry, I know people
But
like.
why would you have Jahmyr Gibbs on the bench? Tell me that.
Why would you have Bijan Robinson on the bench? You know what I mean? Like, because they're the same, and that's what I don't understand. People love Dan Campbell, and they shit on Arthur Smith.
Oh my God,
They're the same coach. They're the same coach. Are they not, Adam?
Well, they're similar, yes. The difference is that the Lions are top of the division.
Well,
And they've
the
been winning
Falcons are a
games.
game out of the top of the division, so they're literally
know.
the
I
same
agree.
coach. They're the same coach. You got Bijan Robinson riding the pine for fucking Tyler Algier, and you got fucking Jahmyr Gibbs riding the pine for fucking David Montgomery, and it's just and it was the same last year with fucking Jahmyr Gibbs riding the pine for David Montgomery is less egregious than last year's DeAndre Swift riding the pine over Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams
yeah.
can't even get on the field now, and DeAndre
Right.
Swift's one of the best running backs in the NFL. So that's even worse than because at least Montgomery has a past of being a starting running back and kind of productive. So I cannot get over that. But Monty's back, coming in great for me, and so guys, put Jahmyr Gibbs at least on your flex, if not your bench. Like, he's done.
I agree.
He's done. He's done. And
Yeah, that's a tough one for me too because I really like Jahmyr Gibbs, but we knew this was going to happen. We called it from week one when they went from the draft when they drafted him because they had already signed David Montgomery before the draft, I think.
They did.
Then they draft Jahmyr Gibbs, and then they trade DeAndre Swift. It's like, or however the order of operations happened. Either way, we said this was going to happen, and it has happened because that's just what Dan Campbell does. He likes his big, hard nose, up the middle run guys, and David Montgomery has been decent. He's scored touchdowns, but so did Jamal Williams last year, and we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So it sucks for Jahmyr Gibbs owners because I know how high they took him in drafts and how low David Montgomery fell. So that's a tough pill to swallow, really. Look, I don't have stock in either of those guys. I'm kind of happy about that because of this, but here we go.
All right. Well, we're moving on to Dave since he's not with us, though. We've got his Stone Cold Lock of the Week. He's 2-0. What you got for us today, Dave?
What is up, boys? It's Dave with the Fantasy Football Bros podcast. First and foremost, I'm so sorry I did not make the episode. The boys are
Bitch.
probably going to say that I had a hot date.
No.
I did not.
No,
Guys,
he doesn't. He doesn't have
Not
that.
with that mustache.
No, wait, not with that stash, bro.
Anyway, you know I couldn't leave you guys hanging, so I'm here to bring you the lock of the week. First things first, boys, go ahead and raise your hands if you took the lock of the week last week. Don't worry, let's wait for Chazz to play the cricket.
No, we took it, Dave.
Nope, sure did.
That's what I
Asshole.
thought. But hopefully you guys are home
Dickhead.
this lock of the week last week because the Fantasy Football Bros are 2-0 against the spread. We're making that money. We're making that money, guys. This week we are looking to keep the trend rolling. We are going 3-0 with the lock of the week, which is going to be the Baltimore Ravens at home -6 against the Cleveland Browns. Let's get straight to it. This is going to be a defensive battle, two great defenses. So what it's really going to come down to is who's got the most talent on the offensive side of the ball, and that by far is the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are 8-3 against the spread in their last 11 games and 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 at home. The Browns, on the other hand, are a putrid 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 games against Baltimore, and I don't see them fixing that trend this week. Don't be scared off by the 6-point spread here. Give me Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens to win this game by a touchdown. Easy. This could even get out of control pretty early. Take your winnings from last week, plop it down on Baltimore -6. Let's go 3-0, and I'll see y'all next week.
Okay.
Nice little touch there with the Fantasy Football Bros logo at the end there, Dave.
Thanks for that. Thank you for that, Dave. I've been on Dave's side for the last 2 weeks, but I don't know about this one.
I have too.
I don't know about this one. One of his statements in this, and I'm not taking it away. This is Dave's call. Dave's a lot better at betting than me, but the one statement he said that I don't agree with is that Baltimore has much better talent on offense than Cleveland, and I don't know if that's true because yes, of course they got the better quarterback, but it's not like Deshaun Watson is awful, and I think Kareem Hunt's the best running back in the whole game. And I think
In that game, yes.
that's what I'm saying in that game. And I think the best receiver in that whole game might be it's probably Amari Cooper. So, but then you got Mark Andrews on the other side and Zay Flowers. So like to say it's like head and shoulders above Baltimore, I think is a stretch. And they both have killer defenses, So what scares me off on that line is it's 6 points. That's a big point. That's a big spread for a divisional matchup. Like, to me, the 6 points would scare me off because this looks like a field goal game to me.
That actually kind of threw me off a little bit too. Division games are always tough. I don't care who it is. You can have the worst team in the league versus the best team in the league. If they're in the same division, it's going to be close. It's just how it always happens. We've seen it time after time. Especially our division. Look at the AFC East.
Yeah.
The Bills, they play. We lost to the Jets and the Patriots already. We beat Miami by 30 points, but those 2 other games that we lost, we lost by less than a touchdown, which is not okay still, but they're close games. They're defensive battles, and I think this division specifically always has been known to have tough defenses. Which, in my opinion, Cincinnati probably has the worst defense of them all, but they have a better offense than all. So it's just the 6 points. You're right. I agree. I think I might have been better if it was like 3 or 4.
Right.
But hey, like you said, Dave's 2-0, so we'll go with it. I'm gonna ride with him. Ride or die, baby.
Sure. That
We'll see what happens.
he is the expert here, but I just wanted to
Yes.
have a differing opinion before people go mortgaging their house like Dave told them to last week.
Yeah. Hey, but he would have been right.
He would have been
And
right.
they'd
So.
probably own 2 houses.
But not in this market, bro.
No.
Not in this market. The market's terrible. All right, we're gonna go into my start of the week, and I know I threw. So I'm getting it back down. So last week I threw a bunch of names at you, and I threw Joe Mixon in there because at the end he did get a touchdown. He wasn't that great. I said Saquon was one of them, but I didn't really want to count Saquon just because he's an elite guy, right? So, but he did fine too. He wasn't great. But my actual start of the week was the Saints defense, which came up. So, but I threw too many names. I'm going to get back down on to just one for the week. And I am following my lead from last week on one of them. And this isn't an all-star guy, but he's in the same kind of scenario. And my start of the week, guys, I'm going to the well again. Javonte Williams against the Buffalo Bills. They cannot stop anybody. Javonte Williams has been ramping it up, and he's been running hard. He's starting to get his first touchdown a couple of weeks ago. He's more than a year from his ACL tear now, so he's starting to look good. I mean, Denver's coming off of beating Kansas City the week prior, and I think they're coming off the bye now. So I just think that the Bills win the game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Javonte Williams has, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 5 receptions. So that's your guy that's sitting on your bench, and I put my money where my mouth is. Javonte Williams has been my bench guy. I've been starting, receivers in the flex, and since Devontae Smith is on the bye for me, Javonte Williams is my flex starting this week, and you could probably do worse as your RB2 than Javonte Williams against the Buffalo Bills. So, Adam, I can't hear you. I don't know what happened here. Did you mute yourself by mistake? I don't know where you went there. Don't know why. Did I mute you somehow? Wow.
No, I think is that better?
You're good. Go ahead.
My back.
What were you saying?
Sorry. I think I might have hit a button by accident. No, what I was saying is I agree with you. I think Javonte is a great pick this week against the Bills. We've seen what running backs do against the Bills. Not to mention, like you said, they're coming off this big win in Kansas City a couple weeks ago, coming off the bye. They're rested. They're ready to rock. They get a Monday night game against Buffalo.
And Russell's been playing pretty good.
Russell's been playing well. I know their record doesn't show it, but he's actually pretty solid numbers this year. Unlimited. That's right. But they've been using Javonte Williams like they should. They've been running him hard. They've been using him in the passing game. And yeah, I agree. That's a great pick. I don't have any qualms about it. And it's just, it sucks to say, being a Bills fan, but using your eyes and your knowledge of football, running backs against the Bills prosper. They do. They really do. And Joe Mixon last week had a touchdown, and he had a pretty decent game.
Sean McDermott is not going to let the big plays happen. So he's going to keep Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy bottled up. I mean, he did a pretty good job keeping Chase bottled up. Higgins ended up having a good game, and but Chase and who scored? Tight ends, right? So and Joe Mixon could have easily had another touchdown instead of on the tight end.
Well, yeah, probably.
That's what I mean. So it's like, so I see Javonte Williams, definitely. So yeah, I'm comfortable with this one. And if I might be a reverse curse thing. So we'll see this week if maybe Joe Mixon has a huge game this week, or Saquon Barkley has a huge game this week. The week after I picked them, just like CJ Stroud did. But all right, Adam. So we're getting down to the end of it here. You are 2-0 on your picks. I'll call myself 1-1, but we're not going to keep score like that. But you're doing pretty good on your Adam's daily value.
Yeah, so far so good. I think the first time we did it, we had JSN scored a touchdown late, yes, but touchdown nonetheless. Scored some points. Hopefully, he was in your lineup. Last week we picked Alexander Madison, and he ended up having a pretty decent game. Scored a touchdown again. This week I'm gonna go with our favorite position. Now, everybody loves a good tight end here, but my daily bargain this week, David Njoku for the Cleveland Browns. They have a really tough defense against Baltimore this week, right? So, David Njoku, who's been really solid the last 2 weeks, he scored a touchdown. Last week he didn't have the yards to go with it, but the touchdown made it relevant. But this week I think Deshaun's going to need him a little bit more, especially against that defense. So right now he is listed at 5,400. So if you're looking to bolster up some of those wide receivers or running backs, or even go a little bit more expensive on a quarterback this week, David Njoku could be a guy you can shove in there for pretty cheap and hope for the best.
I'm a big David Njoku supporter. He's the starter in a few of my leagues, the Fantasy Football Bro leagues. He's my starter, and he's talented and he's big and he's fast and he's like Kyle Pitts before Kyle Pitts. You know, he was just kind of that guy. And he's not.
Yeah, I agree.
Freak, but
so I had Zach Ertz in one of my leagues, and he obviously went down with the injury, and I needed a tight end to pick up, and I went with David Njoku. In the last 2 weeks, he's put up over 10 points. So hopefully he keeps that trend going. I think he will against the Ravens here. And I agree that Baltimore is tough, and I think they're gonna get ahead really early, and they're gonna force Cleveland to throw a lot. And Deshaun's gonna need that option. So look for Njoku. Pretty cheap on those daily sites.
Very good pick, and I'm pro Njoku. So, all right, I didn't really want to do it, but let's just.
How about them Bills, baby? Let's go.
Yeah, let's just make it short and sweet.
I'm not sad at all.
I don't care.
I totally saw it coming. I totally saw one of the more predictable coaches in the league to out coach our shitty coach, and I easily took the Bengals on the spread. The spread was -2.5. The Bengals won by, what was it, 8 or whatever
6.
it was, 6. So
4 to 18. Yeah,
it was easy fucking pick for me to pick the Bengals and win some money. Not surprised at all. And like somebody was telling me today, oh yeah, but they shut the Bengals down in the second half. Great. They also didn't score in the second half, really. Like, you know, like the Bills, if they
so pick your poison there. Great, we shut them down in the second half, but they already had 24 points.
Yeah. So I cannot wait. Our saving grace by Thanksgiving is going to be when they stop relying so much on Josh, and they stop relying on the fucking pistol formation with James Cook, and we start getting into what I hate, a 1972 fucking I formation with Leonard Fournette, and start taking a little pressure off of Josh Allen to help break that shell and help him be able to throw the ball better, because he needs help somewhere. I mean, something's not open. Dalton Kincaid looks great. Diggs is great. James Cook isn't getting it done in the sense that we need him to. I know they don't use him a lot, but if you start pounding it in cold weather, they're going to be better.
You know what sucks too is seeing this team week after week make the same mistakes over and over again, and it doesn't get better from the following week, right? Like in the beginning of the season, okay, yes, we lost week 1 to the Jets, right? But then we come out and we beat the Dolphins, we beat the Raiders, you know, we beat all these teams, and we were putting up points, 37 points per game or whatever it was. We were running a lot more. Josh was running, Cook was running well. He had some really good games at the beginning of the season, and then we kind of faded out James Cook and stopped handing the ball off as much. And then we started putting in Damian Harris, and then, you know, thank God he's okay, but he ended up getting hurt and out for the season with a neck injury. And then we put in, you know, 3,900-year-old fucking Latavius Murray to run the ball. Well, it's very obvious what is going on when you bring in these backs who are going to run up the middle, Damian Harris and Latavius Murray. I mean, you know, James Cook is not a run up the middle guy. He's an outside guy. He's not that big of a running back. But to start shying away from that, like later on in the season, that's been happening. Yeah, teams back up in their formations, and they press the receivers because they know it's a timing route, and it throws the timing off. And Josh hasn't hit a deep shot since, I don't know, week 3 or 4 maybe. So it's really frustrating to see. And it's just, you know, I feel like a broken fucking record because we just say the same shit over and over again, and nothing's changing. Like even the games that we win, like we won against Tampa, but we didn't look good doing it.
Yeah,
It's just
and
tough.
exactly he gets continually outcoached, and I've always said coaching isn't just play calling. Everybody wants to dunk on everyone wants to dunk on the play calling, and it's like
ERAGLP.
sorry, I was going to hit something. It's not just the play calling, it's the coaching. The coaching. There's more to that than it's the players aren't coached well. They aren't prepared well, and it's just I'm over it. I'm over it. It's coaching, and like I was trying to pull up this clip, and I can't find it exactly. So I'm just gonna go from a guy I hate, and I hate to admit he's exactly right. So I'm gonna paraphrase for him because I couldn't find it off the top of my head. But it is, to quote this guy I hate, Colin Cowherd. He's an idiot. He's the guy that I remember like 8 years ago saying that Josh Allen is awful and the future of the NFL is Sam Darnold. So take take
I remember that.
yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. So take anything that this idiot says for a grain of salt. But like, I don't always agree with this guy, but I'm trying to just pull it up real quick here. If I can find what I posted, it shouldn't be too far because I found it on some social media. So, but what the problem is I don't see it. Okay. So I'll just paraphrase then. So the big deal that he said is that you will never win a Super Bowl with Sean McDermott. And I've said that myself. And the reason is because there's certain coaches that will turn teams around, and that's fine. And that's what he did. And he compared Sean McDermott to here's a name you'll remember from back in the day, people at home. He compared Sean McDermott to Marty Schottenheimer, and Marty Schottenheimer is that guy. Marty Schottenheimer turned the Chiefs around, and Marty Schottenheimer turned the Chargers around with Phillip Rivers. And what could Phillip Rivers and LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates never do? They never made the Super Bowl. And back when he was in the Chiefs in the 80s and 90s, they never made the Super Bowl. Marty Schottenheimer can turn these teams around, and Marty Schottenheimer can have all these weapons and never make the Super Bowl. Adam, who does that sound like?
Sounds like our wonderful head coach, Sean McDermott.
So Colin Cowherd put it best, and I wish I could have had the clip, but he paraphrased it real well. And like, he also said that, he's starting to see like Josh Allen's body breaking down on him, kind of like Cam Newton did. And that's maybe he's right about that, but I still see Josh has the big arm. This has happened in every season for 2 years, and it's comparable with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has been asked the last couple of weeks. Josh Allen hasn't been asked the last couple of weeks, but he's not making the right decisions sometimes, and that's because in the middle of the season, teams start running these cover 2 shells on these guys, and they get confused, and then give them a few weeks, and they'll break out of it. But like, I just don't see the Bills ever winning a Super Bowl with Sean.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying. Like, we don't have a run game to help open up the passing game. So
it's coming, baby. It's coming.
Yeah, I sure hope so. And signing Leonard Fournette, which was we talked about it when it happened, because we didn't have to go give up a ton of assets to get a big name running back. We got a big running back who is good in all aspects of the game. He can catch the ball, he can run the ball,
block,
and he can block, exactly. I just want to see them. I want to see them pound the ball. Okay, and it's great that we love this high-flying, high-powered, air the ball out offense, right? That's what we're used to. That's what we've seen. That's what's gotten us to the playoffs, and ultimately, it's what's gotten us knocked out of the playoffs. Because when Josh starts getting into this superhero mode that he has, some sort of switch in his brain that he switches on and off at certain points of the game, where it's, oh shit, I have to be the guy. I was brought in to be the guy. He's great. We all know Josh Allen's great. He's got a cannon for an arm. He can throw the ball a fucking country mile. But it's hard to do when when you're running, or your wide receivers are covered by 3 and 4 guys, because they know you're just going to pass the ball. And I really want to see Leonard Fournette come in here and be able to have those linebackers come up and have and only have one-on-one matchups across the board for your receivers. And I think that's where we're going to hopefully, if they do it right, and we're talking about the Bills coaching staff here, if they don't bring up Leonard Fournette soon, I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, it's just tough to watch. It sucks. Like, I'm not sad about the loss. I predicted it too. I didn't go with them on the spread because I went with my fucking heart, and I'm an idiot for it.
Idiot. Moron.
I know.
Shame.
I suck. But you just got to look at the game and look at everything and go, man, why do they do this? Nobody's ever going to have the answer, but it's just frustrating. So it's not sad. I knew it was coming. We all knew it was coming. It hurts us because Miami had a nice loss against Kansas City, and we could have taken over first in the division again, but we decided to not do that and lose the game again. And it's just frustrating. But it's the same thing over and over again. So it's like it's getting less and less like sad and depressing as more and more
Absolutely.
like, oh, here we go.
You're right. So I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's fucking end this.
Yeah,
so I gave you
I'm
the
done
big.
with it.
I gave you the big choice of having the song of the week. So what you got?
You did, and we are gonna go with "Take Me to the Top," Motley Crue, because I'm going to the top of my leagues. Chazz is going to the top of his leagues. Jay is going to the bottom of his league, but that's fine.
That was Adam, folks.
But
that was Adam.
Here we go. Motley Crue, "Take Me to the Top." Bring it home.
Love it, love it. Some good old fucking Too Fast for Love Motley Crue. Give me that shit.
That's right.
Love it. All right, well, we're gonna get out of here, folks. So we don't want to keep it any longer. Thanks for checking it out. Make sure you're following us on YouTube and you're following us on the TikTok.
All the socials.
All those socials you'll find us.
TikTok.
Got the TikToks, you got the YouTube, all your favorite podcasts, wherever you find your podcasts. And, well, that's about it. So thank you for joining me, Adam. And until then,
Yes,
we
sir.
will see y'all next time. Peace.
Later, guys.